Hey, folks, my guest today is Bob Miles. He's an avid traveler and serial entrepreneur with a history in startups ranging from IoT connected car platforms, Netflix TV shows, consumer drones, and distributed computing platforms. Today, he's the founder of Salad.com and is partnering with millions of gamers around the globe to build the world's largest cloud computing platform. Bob, you ready to take us to the top?
Ready to go, Nathan.
All right, everyone just wants to know what you paid for Salad.com. That's a hell of a URL.
It was a bargain, mate. So I won't spill the beans on the actual price. It was about half what these like tools that judge the price of websites suggested. But we actually bought it off Hidden Valley Ranch. They'd owned it since 1996.
That's hysterical. What year did you buy it in?
We bought it this year.
Oh, you just bought it. Okay,
Yeah.
very cool. All right,
Yeah.
let's get some of this story here. So from what I understand, from what I can tell here, you're effectively enabling me to make money from my computer when I'm not using it actively by basically submitting it to your network. Is that accurate for someone that doesn't, is not deep in your space?
That's right, Nathan. So we believe every computer has meaningful value these days. Our lives are becoming more and more digital. Demand for compute resources is exploding, and every connected device now has meaningful value. And so here at Salad, we allow you, specifically gamers, that's where the unit economics are good, gamers to share their powerful computers with GPUs so that when they're not playing games, they can turn that downtime into games, gift cards, subscriptions. There is a catch. Running your computer does cost electricity. It might add $5 to $10 to $15 a month to your bill. But the computer I'm on right now, that generates about $60 to $65 a month worth of digital spend for me.
Interesting.
And through that, so it's an open source client. If you think about what we're introducing, Nathan, it's a pretty uncomfortable value proposition. Share your computer with someone else when you're not using it. I see it being analogous to Airbnb or Uber 10, 15 years ago. Complete strangers going to pick you up in their car. Complete strangers going to stay in the room next to you. We're bringing the same uncomfortable value proposition to market. We've been at it 3 years, but with our open source software, so you can see what you're installing. We're now the world's fourth largest supercomputer. And
measured by what?
By teraflops. Great question. Yeah, by teraflops. So that is essentially the horsepower of your computer, the processing power. Single point teraflops.
So what do you got now? What are your single point teraflops?
A little over 70 petaflops, if that means anything to you.
It doesn't. I'm trying to, can you say that's like stack papers to the moon and back 7,000 times? Or how do you make that real for my listeners?
Mate, I haven't really thought about that. So here's a way I benchmark it. It's not apples to apples because we're an Airbnb model. Airbnb doesn't own the hotel rooms. But we are the equivalent of it's a Chinese supercomputer. It cost them $273 million to build this computer with the equivalent processing power. That's probably the best I've got for you, Nate.
So was your last valuation then $273 million?
Mate, that'd be nice. No, no, long way from that, but we're getting there.
All right, fair enough. How do you make money?
Yeah, good question. So today we give 100% of the value your computer generates to you. So we project a balance to you, and then our business model exists within that positive cash cycle. So, the tens of thousands of nodes on the network right now, we are the custodians for all the value. So there is an element of breakage there. There's some abandoned balance, but then there's also reward distribution margins. So that money that your computer generates, you can only spend it through our storefront, our network, and we take a margin from that spend. So that's representative of today. Where we're going in future is looking to aggregate a lot of different workloads. The cost of our compute is around 1/5, again, per teraflop per hour of an AWS spot instance. So there's margins on the compute side further down the line. We're working on some really exciting projects on that front.
I submit my computer to your network for a full month. Let's say I earn $50 from it. It cost me an extra $5 to $10 in electricity. So I'm netting 40. You're giving me effectively $40 that I can now go spend on the Salad marketplace. Let's say I want to spend that to get a $40 Amazon gift card. How much of that $40 do you get for bringing that business to Amazon?
Yeah, great question. So for a $40 Amazon gift card, we actually list these. We have them. We charge you 50 bucks worth of salad balance. So we're taking, and it's different for every reward. So on average, netted out across all the different rewards, we're at 23%. But for your specific example, the markup is from $40 to $50. That's what we charge you in salad balance.
Do you have to go negotiate every one of these deals with Amazon, with Discord, with anything you list in your marketplace? That feels like a huge BD operation.
Oh, mate, it is the Achilles heel for us scaling right now. So yep. Our vision is not to become another e-commerce marketplace. We want to be the easiest and most trusted way to share your computer. Like, we're the experts at extracting that value. So today we work with a couple of different suppliers that provide all these different games, provide all these different gift cards. So we're able to kind of consolidate down the relationship to a few. But things like Discord, we have a direct relationship with them where we purchase these subscriptions wholesale at a wholesale price and then distribute them. But ultimately, I mean, you've described what's next for us in our go-to-market strategy. We want to build an SDK that allows other people, game publishers, studios, content creators, to extract the value of their install base of those PCs so that we don't have to deal with inventory.
You have salad balance paid on your website listed right at $3 million. Over what period of time?
That's year to date. We update that manually, so it's a little bit outdated, but
that's why I asked.
Yeah. The website.
So 2021 year to date, what is it like as of today? You're probably going to tell me something more updated than what's on the website.
Yeah, it's a little over 3. Yeah, okay. It's a little over 3. It was updated quite recently, actually, because we're actually getting sued for accessibility on our website. So we've had to bring our website into spec. The two options we were given, this is taking a turn you probably weren't expecting, but this is really interesting, and it's important for anyone who operates a website. You could be sued if your website is not accessible to those who are vision impaired. So we have now gone through a huge effort recently to bring it up to spec, make sure it's accessible according to a couple of standards. But ultimately, we're not a public accommodation, so it's a frivolous lawsuit. But it's been an interesting kind of sideball that's been thrown at us recently. As a small startup, it's not what we were expecting. Usually when you're getting sued is when you've made it. I wouldn't say we're quite there yet. We're waiting for that $273 million valuation that you mentioned.
Understood. When you do the 3.1 or whatever million in salad marketplace spend year to date, that's the $50 number you just told me that you would bill, where I'm getting like a $40 Amazon gift card, right?
Yes. Yep. Top line revenue. Exactly. So we're a marketplace. We don't have SaaS margins. We're a marketplace.
But I can take 3.1 million in volume this year times the 23% rate. That's the average margin you set across your marketplace, to assume you guys are doing something like $700,000 in revenue this year.
Yeah. Plus there's breakage. So we also have that model baked in. And where it's, what does that mean?
Sorry, can you quantify that? How much revenue you do breakage revenue this year?
Yeah, it's funny because I didn't know what it was either. Breakage is kind of like the gift card model, right? So people will purchase gift cards and either never use them or they expire, depends on what state you're in. But once you translate it from USD into V-Bucks, into Starbucks gift card, into Target gift card, whatever it might be, not 100% of that value will be spent. That is breakage.
So how much will that be this year?
Oh gosh, mate, you're diving deep. So that is a time-dependent factor. 18% of the balance outstanding belongs to people who have not logged in 6 months or more. So that is a general rule of thumb. But we right now do not nuke anyone's balance.
You just let it sit there.
Yeah, we let it sit there. So we haven't realized that yet. But that is an element. We're C+ stage, pretty early. We're actually out raising our Series A now.
How much are you looking for?
15 million. 15 million is what we're raising.
And this would be this would be your seed?
No, this is Series A. We raised our C+ this time last year. We raised 3.2 million. We still have more than 2 on the balance sheet. So we've operated very lean this past year. But we've had some really exciting opportunities come our way from big Fortune 500s to run workloads across our network. And that's why we're out raising a Series A now to grow the team.
How many, if I asked you how many customers do you have, how would you respond to that?
This is a great question. So we're a marketplace. We have suppliers and then we have demand, right? So right now, users are our suppliers, 20,000 daily active, but they're not customers, right? They're suppliers. So demand, those who pay you are your customers. And right now we are tapping into Web3. So this is the why now salad for moment, the why now moment for salad. For the first time, this is a few years ago, Web3 assigned a value to every connected device. So we're talking about proof of work mining here. So we are able to tap into these P2P networks that pay us for our network. And that, for us, was a solution to the two-sided market problem. We're able to focus on the human problem of distributed computing. How do you motivate people to share their computers without having to worry about that demand side? So our customer right now, to boil it down to one answer for you, Nathan, is Web3.
Yeah, but how many? So how many customers do you have?
Well, we mine half a dozen to a dozen different protocols. And
you're talking like Helium, where you need IoT devices and you need render power and GPU power. You're mining.
Helium's a great example. Yeah, it's so you might be so Helium is a closed network where they have their own hardware that gets distributed. We are tapping into the existing capital asset.
Okay, understood. But wouldn't also like Amazon be your customer, or the people that you're putting the awards cards? Like how many individual SKUs do you have listed in your marketplace that people can buy? Why do you not consider those your customers?
That's a good question. That is an incentive mechanism. That is a pricing model. So we purchase those to reward our users for their supply of compute resources. So they are not strictly our customer. They are a mechanism by which we incentivize suppliers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, really interesting. So then if I was going to summarize your revenue model, I'm doing this in under 14 minutes here. So you tell me if I'm right or wrong. You've got this year north of 1.4 million in revenue, of which 713,000 is recognized based off your 23% take. Another 700K is breakage, which you haven't cashed in on yet, but you can quantify because those users haven't logged in 6 months. And then lastly, compute power that goes to your network. You're actually able to make a little extra juice there by using that to sort of mine on some of these networks to get revenue above 1.4 million. Is that accurate?
Yep, top line revenue is closer to year to date, a little over 3. So 3.5.
And what did you do last year?
Last year was like 150K. So we have grown massively in the last. This has been our breakout year.
And when did you launch? 2019?
No, 2018.
2018. Interesting.
Yeah. So
what did you raise the 3.2 then when you broke 150,000 last year, or I guess in 2020, when you raised that seed, the 3.2, what valuation was that at?
12 was pre-money. 12 million pre-money.
You laugh when you say that. Do you feel like you took the investors for a ride there? You told a sexy story and they said, whatever you want, Bob, whatever valuation you want.
No, the contrary, mate. I think they got a great deal. Fast forward to who we are today.
Come on, $150,000 in revenue at a 12 million valuation. I mean, I get it. You're the vision. You own salad.com. I get it. But this is great. Look, I love an entrepreneur who tells a good story and minimizes dilution. So I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. I think it's great.
Well, look, hey, the investors have a very big slice of the salad pie. That was not our first round. So we had safe notes. We had
how much before?
2 million before.
Okay.
So 5.3 we raised all together. And look, this is Nathan. I mentioned it before. We are introducing a radically new, very uncomfortable concept that has massive potential for us to reach escape velocity that takes a lot of capital. So it's taken a fair bit of dilution, but we're now hitting that exponential part of the curve, which is fun.
Are you sole founder?
Yeah, I'm the only founder. Yeah.
Amazing. So you had 100% at the beginning.
Well, no. So I actually in the early days, didn't have the confidence to found this thing myself. So I did actually bring in a co-founder, management consulting, from a management consulting background. About 16 to 18 months in, we realized we are struggling to find product market fit. We need to be more lean. And so that co-founder left, and I was left.
Did you buy back the equity?
I don't know if that's public, Nathan. But yeah,
I was gonna say that sucks if you bring someone in and give them 20%, then they leave, and then you have all this basically unactive equity, not on the company anymore.
Yeah, it does, but that's what vesting schedules are for, right? So that controls the damage there.
How long was that co-founder at the company? Was it under 12 months?
No, 16 to 18.
Okay, fair enough. So if you assume a 1-year cliff and 4-year vest, people can do their own math there. But so Bob, basically wrapping up, I mean, you're basically the sole founder, and then you raised $2 million in safes at whatever valuation, then 3.2 at 12. So you've sold, call it 30-40% of the business to date.
Yeah, I'd have to check out Carter, but that would be around the mark, plus or minus, I'd say, Nathan.
Who cares? You own salad.com. Nothing else matters. You're raising you're raising a $15 million round now. What valuation are you going to try and target?
So $5 million run rate. We've got verbal terms. They're not where I want it to be. I want it to be at 60 or 70 pre-money. We have got some incredibly exciting revenue opportunities, diversified workloads from Fortune 500s coming up. Here am I telling the story, Nathan.
You can't even say the valuation with a straight face.
Oh, mate. Well, hey, Nathan, if this is what you do for a living, you would be very aware of what's going on in the markets right now. It is a founder's market.
I think it's great.
You and I both, mate. You and I both.
I think it's great. I've seen people raise with no revenue at this valuation. So at least you have revenue. You're in a hot space. You have traction. I mean, I think it's great. So good stuff. Hey, wrap up the team real quick, and then we got to wrap up. How many folks are on the team full time?
So we've just hired 3 more. We are at 19, plus a support team of 6 more, so 25 altogether.
How many engineers?
7, now 8.
Very cool. All right, let's wrap up, Bob, with the famous 5. Number 1, favorite book?
Mate, I am illiterate. I've got ADD. I haven't read a book since Goosebumps in the late 90s. So there's your answer. Number
two, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
So I'm very interested in the Web3 space at the moment, and the CEO kind of figurehead doesn't really exist within that space. So my answer in lieu of a CEO is looking at these DAOs, these different distributed autonomous organizations. I want to direct people there. Have a look at that.
Which DAO is your favorite?
This is going to come out of left field, but it's the ones that are being launched by Super Token. So they're really interesting. They're kind of mixing NFTs and community ownership of these NFTs, which then feed into governance of the DAOs. One of them I just bought into recently would be Astro Bulls. I think that's a really interesting kind of fun one.
Interesting. All right, Number 3, favorite online tool.
The team's going to hate me for this, but this is a little bit patriotic to say Atlassian. Love Atlassian, mate.
Are you based in Australia?
No, I'm here in the States, but that's nice. An Aussie company.
Fair enough. No, I know we had Jay Simons on, president of Atlassian. I want to say 3 or 4 months ago. I think it's a great company.
Oh, cool.
Are you from New Zealand or Sydney or?
From Australia, Sydney.
Nice. All right. Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I focus on sleep. Actually, here's a plug. I just bought an 8 sleep pod. Phenomenal. So I get my full 8 hours. I sleep well.
What do you like about 8 sleep?
It's not so much the tech side. Like I live in the tropics now. It's the air conditioned aspect. I run hot at night, and 8 sleep keeps me nice and cool. They should give me a promo or referral code.
No, they're a sponsor. No, I'm teeing this up beautifully because they happen to be a sponsor. Guys, if you want 8 Sleep, check it out at nathanlatka.com/8 /8 Sleep.
Hey, hook me up with a referral code,
Yeah.
Nathan.
All right, good. So you got plenty of sleep. What's your situation? Married, single, kids?
Married, and I got a 6-week-old.
Wow.
So yeah. So I'm lucky to have a wife who does a lot of the night shift, so I can get that 8 hours. But hey, I roll up the sleeve from time to time.
I love that.
For sure.
And Bob, how old are you?
Mid-30s.
Mid-30s. We'll call it 35. Last question. Something you wish you knew when you were 20.
Okay, so I love this. This is kind of embarrassing to say. It took me till 30 to realize this. It's kind of tangential to the Dunning-Kruger effect. The more you learn about something, the more you recognize how little you know. No one really has a clue what they're doing, right? Like I grew up going through school thinking that adults had it all figured out. That is so far from the truth. So that is the one thing I'll be teaching my little kid. No one really knows what they're doing. We should all respect that a little earlier in life, I reckon.
Guys, salad.com. If you're a gamer, basically contribute your GPU power to the system. They then use it to make money elsewhere, and you earn salad points. Think of it like money, then spend it on the salad marketplace. They are going to process about $3 million in revenue this year between breakage fees, money through the platform, and then also mining using that GPU power on, things like helium, not helium, but things like helium. Interested space, again, salad.com. Check it out. Raised their last round, $3.2 million seed at a $12 million valuation, hoping to raise a $15 million round right now. Call it between a $60 and $70 million valuation. We'll see if Bob can get it done. Bob, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you, mate. Cheers, Nathan.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.